RASHOMON is the most interesting, for me, of Kurosawa's films. That and The Throne of Blood, those two stand out the most. The Throne of Blood was more accessible because most non-Japanese audiences at least knew the basic story of Macbeth. This was more creative because I don't think we'd seen anything quite like this. The main thing here is that when one sees a film, you see the characters on screen. It's not like reading where you imagine certain things. You see very specific things. You see a tree, you see a sword. So you take that, one takes that as truth. But in this film, you take it as truth, and then you find out that it is not necessarily true. And you see these various versions of the episode that has taken place that these people are talking about. And you're never told which is true and which isn't true, which leads you to the proper conclusion that it is all true and none of it's true. So it becomes a poem, and it cracks this visual thing that we have in our minds that if we see it, it must be a fact. In reading and in radio, where you don't have these specific visuals, your mind is making them up. So what my mind makes up and what your mind makes up, or your mind, is never the same. The trial or the testimony scenes that we keep going back to, and you see the two figures behind the person giving the testimony. We never see the interrogator. So this person is speaking to the audience, but as if the audience were the interrogator. It's as if I, the audience, were saying, what happened? I saw, this other guy told me something else, and you get a different version of it. There's one fact that takes place in all of them, and that's the death of this one man. The rest of it is, it's a poem, and it's dramatic, and it works. And it changed, I think, it certainly changed my perception about what is possible in film and what is desirable. You just have to be able to let the audience come to that conclusion, and they say, oh, that isn't what happened. And everybody that you would talk to about, if you sit down and make a person see the film and ask them questions, you would not get the same answers from anybody, which is the art of art. That's what art is. It penetrates your intellect, your mind, and your experience in history has to react on this new information. But you're reacting from your own persona on it, and that's what gives it the power, I think. The camera work was fantastic. You were always under these leaves, and so it wasn't clear. The look of the film tends to diffuse it. It's like a painting if you paint impressionistically. Had he shot that whole film, for instance, under an open sky, it would be quite a different film. But putting it into that dapple, you never knew where you were or where you weren't. And the thing that stays the most in my mind are those shots of the sun through the trees and that movement, the constant movement. It's said that Kurosawa was the first one that ever pointed his camera at the sun. I was shooting television then, and when I saw that, I went to work the very next day and absolutely emulated one of those shots. I don't remember what the piece was even, but I remember I had someone in a swing, and I kept swinging, I had the camera in the swing, and I'd swing up and see all that stuff through it. I was fascinated with that. I've done that ever since. That rain, I love that rain. Rain is a real emotional trigger that works in any film. I love weather and rain or extreme heat or wind or snow, anything that's excessive, because it gives you another blanket, so to speak. It gives you another layer that the audience can relate to sensually. I mean, to me, Every element of that film was part of that film, part of the poem. The acting style of Mifune and the Japanese actors is quite different from the English-speaking European styles of acting. It served me, the woman particularly, I thought was good. The Mifune character I might have felt was a little exaggerated, but that's the music of that culture. A Japanese person will never see the film the same as a non-Japanese person will. The Japanese culture knows that history of the samurai, like we do the American Western. Every culture has their own set of what you grew up as children. So we miss a lot of that in this film because we just don't have the background. But the best thing about it was, for non-Japanese audiences, is that there was not a lot of dialogue. It was a visual film, and the titles are almost like just to keep you up with it. You know, it's the visual stimulation that hits the audience. That's the reason for film. Otherwise, we should just turn the light out and call it radio. So it's a great film. It certainly had its influence and continues to have an influence on me.
Jesus, who even is this guy anyway?
Toronto, Cannes, Berlin, and Sundance, everybody chat about. Good movies, chat about. Good movies, chat about. Good movies. Good movies. Good movies.
Hey, it's the Good Movie Chat About. How we doing, everybody? Hello. In black and white for the last time this month. But yeah, I'm here at the RASHOMON gate. I'm not really happy with I don't know. Well, maybe I'm okay with the size of me here. All right. Hey everyone. It's Saturday. It's 6 p.m. Eastern. So it's movie chat about time. And we're in Japanuary, and this is the movie we're going to talk about today. Eventually, but just to set it up. This is a movie that really put Japanese film on the international map in a meaningful way. It was immediately heralded around the world, and it made people interested in Japanese film in general. And Kurosawa is a great figure in. This is our third time discussing Kurosawa on the chat about. Of course, our very first episode. I have to recount all the previous ones. Very first episode with our good friend Alex Kleiner. We talked about Ikiru, I would say my second favorite Kurosawa, that has my favorite performance in it from Takashi Shimura, who is also gives a great performance in Rashomon as well. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. But Ikiru, or To Live, remade recently as Living. I was living. I did think it was pretty good. But that was with Bill Nighy, the British guy. Bill Nighy, the British guy. And anyway, and then later, a couple months after that, we talked a little movie you may have heard of called Seven Samurai with our good friend Howell Doughty. We love Howell. Don't we all love Howell? We love those fleets. God, we love Howell. I love Howell so much. And that was a really fun episode. And I felt like a lot of pressure for that one because I made somebody who I respect and enjoy their content so much. I made them watch a 3.5-hour movie. So I just felt a lot of like, oh, okay, gotta make this worth it. But of course I did my amazing parody of Prince's, the Prince song 7. But I made it about the 7 Samurai. Anyway, there's a short of that on my YouTube. like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube later. Hey, I got it. Oh yeah, I didn't say the line. This is the Good Movie Chat About, where we have good chats about good movies with good guests. And once again, the guests, possibly you. Name the movie. Step Brothers, 2009. No, 2008. Sorry, 2008. I saw it early 2009. It was the first time I saw it. I love that movie. I watch it every Christmas, either Christmas Eve or Christmas. Anyway, getting way off track. Ooh, Gitson, I'm really excited that that you watched it. It's a really great. I think it's many people's first Kurosawa. I don't know if it was mine. I can't remember what mine was. Mine might have been like Yojimbo, actually. I don't really know. Because I've also rewatched them all so many times. Like this week, I watched. Well, let's see. Actually, I have this ready to go. Oh, I need to make that visible. So yeah, I watched Rashomon first on the 5th, which would have been 5 days ago. Anyway, I watched it 5 days ago. And so then I was like thinking about it, and it was like 2 hours before the stream, or not even, it was like an hour 45 before the stream. And I'm like, well, I can get it in. I was like, I can watch it. Totally have enough time. And so if I seem a little scattered, it's because I was literally finishing watching the movie for a second time this week, 15 minutes before. And I'm honestly glad I did, because it is so simple on the surface. Like everybody, like at this point, if you're like who gets in watching it for the first time last night, probably went in knowing the central conceit of it, or even hearing about the concept of a Rashomon situation before watching Rashomon. So it's a thing that like is immediately culturally understood even before you see the movie, or not, maybe not immediately, but like we use it as a cultural shorthand for things. It's a bit of a Rashomon, right? You hear that. If you listen to podcasts, you hear that, because people love to drop Rashomon to sound smart, as do I. And but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of intricacies when you're talking about, these different versions of events and how they differ and how they overlap, how they support each other as much as how they contradict each other, actually, because the ways that they both support and contradict in some ways is like, anyway, it's great. It's what makes it really good. But let's talk about the rest of what I watched this week. So yeah, I rewatched. Yeah, right. Okay, so the Unreliable Narrator movie. Yeah, that's a perfect like elevator pitch or whatever. Like the very very top line. Like, yeah, it's a movie about how everybody has a different take on an event or whatever. There's nothing incorrect about that. It is true, but there's so much going on. But let's talk about I did a lot of rewatching this week. So okay, so I think Nuremberg was the one that I had most recently watched before last stream, but I did rewatch Begonia. I'm doing some rewatching, and I raised it a half star. It raised in my estimation, maybe because I watched it on my own without. Sorry, I was gonna quote a meme, but I think she'll be mad at me. That's a bitch in your ear telling you it's nasty. I don't feel that way. But Abby was not as much of a fan of Begonia. She also didn't really care as much for Save the Green Planet, which we also watched. So it just wasn't her thing. But I did something about it, rewatching it, knowing all the subtle, like the different, like the whole thing. It was a fun, yeah, just a classic whodunit. That's Rashomon for sure. And honestly, it kind of is, except it's a whodunit where all the different people are like, I did, me, I did, I'm the one who did it. Everybody wants to take credit. Not that's what makes it really atypical. All the different narrators are being like, and then I did it. I killed, including I killed myself. Like it's always anyway. Begonia, it just Emma Stone is really on another level in that. I think that that's really what it is for me. Is I'm a big Emma Stone fan. I always have been, frankly, since Superbad, really. Um, since her episode of Lucky Louie, a show we all remember. Everybody's still watching their Lucky Louies, right? Their Lucky Louie DVDs, right? We're also throwing on the Lucky Louie. We love Pamela Adlon. The show that they made off of Louis C.K. stand-up act when he was still doing the bits about how much he hated his wife, but they can't get divorced. Anyway. And then nothing else happened with that guy. All right, so Begonia liked it a lot more watching it. And then I watched Rashomon. Of course, we're going to talk about it. Tampa Po, 2 weeks. I'm raring to go, man. Oh, my God. This was a combination of things. So I'll just spill the beans here. We love Pamela Adlon. I mean, Pamela Adlon, innocent. And she actually is really good on Lucky Louie. If there's anything good about the show, it's Pamela Adlon, but it's pretty bad. I did watch every episode as it aired because that's the kind of comedy nerd that I was, and to a lesser degree still am. Anyway, Tampa Po was, so this was January 6th. And you know, been just feeling down about shit in the world. And Tampa Po is my ultimate. Well, my review is it's a film about comfort food that is also itself the film form of comfort food. That's my take. We'll get into that more in 2 weeks, but that's an episode I've been so excited to do. And I will just spill the beans. Yuzo Itami, one of my absolute favorite Japanese directors. I am working on I've been scripting it. I need to do a lot of work, but I am working on like a actual like YouTube video essay type thing just about Yuzo Itami. So I had been working on that, and I just was like, let me just watch Tampa Po again. God damn it if it doesn't hit every time. There's just no movie that I love. It's like so rewatchable. I love Tampa Po. All right, then I watched Predator, Badlands, and that was pretty fun. It's all right. The main reason I didn't love it more is that it was a little too MCU-y. Just in like tonally. More so than it needed to be. I mean, I understand if you want it to be more fun than Prey, and it doesn't necessarily need to be on the same tonal level as Prey, but like it went really goofy at times, in a way that I thought didn't need to. Anyway, After the Storm, our man Hirokazu Koreeda just batting 100 for us here. This is a movie. It's a really good family drama about a deadbeat gambling addict who wants to try to keep having a relationship with his son, and he's torturing his ex-wife. And anyway, his mom is really great and remind me a lot of my grandmother. And I sobbed at one part of this movie. Anyway, I liked it a lot. It's 5 stars. And then I watched Sentimental Value on my own that same night. Ended up being kind of a cool double feature in a way. I did really like Sentimental Value. It will factor into the Bobskers for those keeping track, for those that are placing bets on Polymarket or whatever the fuck. Yeah, Sentimental Value. Expect to see some of Sentimental Value in the Bobsker final nominees there. But anyway, that's what I watched this week. And I rewatched Rashomon just before the stream. I also almost started, but then just kind of wasn't going to be able to properly devote the attention. But I think maybe after the stream, I got there was so everybody gets excited for the Barnes and Noble 50% off Criterion sale, myself included. I can't resist a 50% off sale, Criterion. I'm gonna get something. All right. I already know the next 50% off sale. I'm like, okay, Lost in America, because I watched and liked that movie. Loved that movie. I'm like, okay, next 50% off sale, Lost in America. Ready. But they have, I actually think it's still going on because it might be all month. Arrow Video, another one of the absolute. If you're somebody starting your physical media collection, check it out. Check out Barnes and Noble's Arrow Video. This is not SpawnCon. Unless they want to give me money, I will take it. But Arrow Video, I got In the Mouth of Madness 4K special edition. It's like thick. I haven't even looked at all of what's in there. But hell yeah, I fucking love In the Mouth of Madness. RoboCop 4K. That's right. RoboCop 4K. And Volume 4 Shawscope, which is of course their collection of Shaw Brothers movies. I've gotten the 3 previous volumes, and they just released a 4th one that is full of just only like the most ridiculous like fantasy, superhero, like sci-fi, like it's all there out there kind of genre movies, which I have not. There's a couple like The Boxer's Omen is kind of like a horror, straight up horror kind of, even though it still has the whole training montage and final battle kind of stuff that they all have. But anyway, so I think we're gonna watch Super Infrared Man or something, Super Inframan, which is a Hong Kong superhero movie that I'm really excited. But it has a bunch of crazy shit like that on it, so I'm excited to watch that after the stream. But before we get to talking Rashomon, because I know everybody's really excited. And by the way, wait, let's see. Does it work? Do I have? I didn't turn it off, so I don't see. And it was going off yesterday. Yes, there you go. If you are not in the Discord and you have any interest in joining to talk about Rashomon, about Kurosawa movies in general, oh my god, I can talk about them all day. Japanese film, what movie you just watched, I don't care. Join my Discord, hop in the waiting room chat voice channel. If I see you in there, I will pull you in and you'll join the chat. Otherwise, get ready for another great monologue about Japanese film from me, because I fucking killed it last week. And I'm not really kidding. I said everything I needed to say. So we're embracing the monologue. All right, let's start here with our dulls before we get talking. Let's start with box office game. All right, so we're talking. Oh, you can't see okay. March 10th, 2023. Okay. Paramount Pictures first weekend 44 million. 2023. Actually, you know what I think it is, and I just rewatched this movie. Honor Among Thieves, Dungeons and Dragons. Show me? No. Okay, well that was Paramount. All right, well let's see. Genre: horror, crime, thriller. 44 mil. Horror, crime, thriller. 2023. Starring. Ooh. It's Scream 6? I think it's Scream 6. Yeah. Okay. All right. I got that. Melissa Barrera. And you know who else is in Scream 6? Well, never mind. I didn't know it was going to open an IMDb link. Spider's in Scream 6. We've Spider spotted. Spider spotted. Spider is in Scream 6. All right. MGM. Oh, wow. It's made a ton of money. It made a ton of money its first weekend. Quite a drop in the second, but it's still bringing in 27 mil. It's already made over 100 mil. Is it animated? Drama, action, sports. MGM. Sports 2023 starring Michael B. Jordan. It's Creed 3. Never saw it, but yeah. Okay. All right. 2 for 2. 155 on both. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Sony first weekend 12 mil. Okay, this one's not doing much. Action adventure science fiction. Ooh. Oh, I know. It's 65. What's it called? Wait, 60. Is it 60? Is it just called 65? Yeah. Terrible movie. There's no reason this movie should have sucked. The world, I mean, just future man with future sci-fi weapons in dinosaurs. I'm on board. How can that possibly not be entertaining? Well, they as Jeff Goldblum says, life finds a way. Hollywood finds a way. All right, Disney. Oh, it's made a lot of money. Fourth weekend, 2023. Marvel. But it would have done well. Ooh, is it Doctor Strange? Multiverse of Madness? No. Paul Rudd. Oh. Oh, it's Quantumania? Ooh. Ooh. Brother. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. That's all I have to say about that. But look at this though. Look at this. Yucky, yucky. 155, 155, 155, 160. All right. Universal third weekend up to 51 mil. Universal is it animated? Thriller, comedy, crime. Crime, comedy, thriller. It's doing okay, and it stars Carrie Russell. Carrie Russell? In a crime, comedy, thriller? What am I? Huh? Oh, Alden Ehrenreich's second build? Get in line. Oh. Oh, Elizabeth Banks. Oh, it's the Cocaine Bear. It's Cocaine Bear. Okay, I did get it eventually. Only 40 points on that one, but I got Cocaine Bear. I'm in the 76th percentile. I'll take it. Damn. All right. Let's do movie to movie. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, I know Will Ferrell. I know my Will from Ferrell. So, and I also have seen Red One. I have not seen You're Cordially Invited. I know the bear got into the cocaine. Oh, isn't that random? Oh. Anyway, shout out to DBJ's friend in that movie, who I like, actually. I really like their stuff. Did we save Christmas? Well, we have a jacked Santa Claus, And something tells me, oh wait, no, I already know how to do this. Yeah. Please swap them. Or here, I'll just do it. Dwayne Johnson, other guys. It's too easy. There it is. That's it. How about that? 12 seconds. 12 seconds. Short as possible. I got it. That's what I put in. Easy. All right, and this is my favorite one. Ugh. Okay. It's actoral. Oh, God. Ah! So white. Hang on. Does this have a dark mode? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. Thank God. All right. Here, let me crop this. It's like taking up everything. We can't even see the Rashomon gate anymore. All right. Okay. Here we go. Now let's see what we have. They started in 1936. Jesus Christ, you don't see that. Very often. And their most recent credit is 2025. Okay, so this is someone who started acting as a baby. Oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna look at any of the things. I'm just gonna put in June Squibb. Okay. And they're younger than June Squibb. All right. We're getting somewhere. They're much younger than June Squibb. Let's see. They're not Squibb. Jesus. The 1930s? Who is around that was Mickey Rooney's not alive? Who the fuck is this? I'm just like, who is alive? Music, Western, romance, comedy, 7.0 for 1946. The something. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Now I'm seeing. Okay. These are a red herring. This is someone who's been reused because of their music. Okay. I'm seeing a common thread of music. Is it like Roy Rot? Like, who the fuck is it? 2000, 2019, 2025. Other than that, the last one was 1963. It's not Elvis. I'm like, who are you? Is it someone that I should be able to guess? What this is? They never, they never do this. An old actor like this. Here. Just gonna put somebody that maybe have been in a movie with them. They're younger. How is this possible? How can they be possible? Okay, wait. They're younger than, or that's how old they were when they died, and that's how old he is now. So that they were younger than that when they died, I think, is the okay, wait. Now we might be getting somewhere. I got it. Ah, no. Don't look. Dox me. All right. Yeah, because when I was like, Mickey Rooney's dead, but and you know who else is dead? It's Judy Garland the whole time. Because I'm like, it would be somebody really obvious if it's somebody from a long time ago. Anyway, it was Judy Garland. Let's just do the Cinematrix and then we'll talk Rashomon. All right, let's do the Cinematrix. Okay. Oh, let me fix the crap. We are looking for America Ferrera. Oh, jeez. Okay, so we're traveling pants. We're traveling pants here. All right. Actor or director Alexis Bledel or Amber Tamblyn. You know what? Fuck the Cinematrix. Let's see if the movie grid is better than this one. I'm not gonna fucking do the traveling pants one. They can eat my ass. This is better. Here we go. Director, actor Jack Nicholson. Title contains the. This is maybe going to be a popular one. Oh, you can't see what I'm putting in. I fuck the dulls. I'm trying to put in the last detail. All right, let's see. Get last detail. 3.4% actually. Okay, see, you know, people that don't know movies are doing this. Okay, because you should know the last detail. Honestly my favorite Jack Nicholson performance. You should know the last detail. One word title. It's going to be Hoffa. 2.3%. Jesus, do you people know Jack? You don't know Jack. You don't know Jack. Okay, and now let me go deep. Released from 1980 to 2000. The name of the Terms of Endearment sequel is it called like the Evening Standard or something? The Evening Star. Oh, wait. And then I mean, I don't feel confident in that. So let me. Okay. Broadcast news. Broadcast news. 3%. Oh, these people don't know shit. The fucking people doing the moviegrid.io, they aren't movie fans. They are movie fans. Okay. What's the Baker Boys? What's it? The Fabulous Baker Boys. We're going to go with the Fabulous Baker Boys for. Oh, wow, that's 22%. All right, I take back. I was not familiar with your game. All right. But Michelle Pfeiffer, one word title. One word title, Michelle Pfeiffer. Why am I blanking on Michelle Pfeiffer's entire career? I love her as an actor. I'm gonna go Married to the Mob. Yes. 2%. Great movie. Great movie. Jonathan Demme. 2%. One word title of that's Michelle Pfeiffer. Let's do Clint Eastwood. Well, that one's too obvious. I was gonna say The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but I actually think that is too obvious for Clint Eastwood. But I'm like, a fistful of dollars. Okay, well here for the one word title for because it says don't count the. I'm gonna go with The Mule. We're gonna definitely go with The Mule. 26% of people pick The Mule. All right. Okay. What do you know about Bridges of Madison County? 15.4. 15.4. All right. You know what? I just stopped having fun. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing to hide. Okay, let's talk about Rashomon. Hey everybody, let's talk about Rashomon. Huh? If you want to join, there's instructions right here. Join the waiting room. But I'll just get started. Rashomon is a 1950 Japanese jidaigeki film directed by Akira Kurosawa from a screenplay he co-wrote with Shinobu Hashimoto. Yeah. That's why, I mean, like, I realize my life is too short to spend another moment on the movie grid. It's like if I could bail from the beginning on doing the traveling sisters of traveling pants themed cinematrix, I can bail on trying to think of a one word title Michelle Pfeiffer movie. Though I am gonna think of one later and be like, oh, of course, ah. But Rashomon. So I've been sort of nibbling at this as we were starting the movie chat about. Um, but to me, the things that are most interesting about this movie is it is a movie that lives so much by its reputation. It's very much on the level of when I talk about these eternal films, like I always bring up The Godfather, Wizard of Oz, like these movies that just it's not even about anymore are they good or bad or whatever. They are cultural forces unto themselves. They have absolutely altered the entire cinematic landscape of everything. Um, and those are just a few examples. There's many, many, movies like this, but Rashomon is absolutely uh, one of those. I mean, like I said, even if you've never even seen the movie, you're familiar with what it is. Like just because of hearing people talk about it. I mean, maybe maybe not. I don't know. Is does anybody? I don't actually follow him. Does anybody know? Is I Show Speed also doing his Rashomon discussion today? I can't. I don't remember. I forgot to check his schedule. I don't know if he does a schedule, but I know that he was going to talk Rashomon on there. So if I Show Speed is talking Rashomon, I'll stand corrected. But um, oh, he's back on the film grid. Okay, his movie chat show moves a little bit slower. Uh, no, but this is a movie that you come in very much already knowing like its deal. Although I can imagine actually being around in 1950 and also just 1950, one of my favorite movie years. It's such a cool year. There's so much good shit comes out in 1950, and Rashomon, like this being the movie that like makes Japanese film as a whole break out as being like its own really awesome thing. And then all of a sudden there being international interest to see. I mean, Ozu was one of the last ones because they always thought that he wouldn't translate because it's like too Japanese. But a lot of like the Samurai trilogy is another one, also starring Toshiro Mifune, who stars in this movie as well. Although I shouldn't even say star because this is what it's very much. It's sort of atypical in well, pre World War II Japanese cinema was very much like alive and well. It has its own very long history. Rashomon, as I said, qualifies as a jidaigeki film, which is like a history kind of epic sort of. Is that am I basically right? What do you say? Yeah, it literally means period drama. Jidaigeki. But there's also Chambara pictures, which is sort of the more action sword fighting kind of. And then you had the like kitchen table dramas, which Ozu was doing. And Ozu, we talked about last week, he's basically from the beginning, maybe not from the beginning, but when he was old enough to be directing, he was directing. And yeah, so there was a very healthy kind of thing. Of course, it was also very controlled pre-war and during the war, and what you could and couldn't say. I wish I I don't want to speak with too much authority because I've learned a lot of this stuff and then forgotten it. But there were times where like samurai movies would have like fallen out of favor, especially immediately post-war. This is what I talk about a lot with Japanese film is how this period in particular in like 1950, like this is kind of the 50s in Japan by themselves are just like huge. I mean, for film, it was just like sort of one masterpiece after another, just like the movie that's going to win the Oscar. It was like, I mean, incredible. Just the entire class of directors that were going, and the different I mean, but it was a lot of one masterpiece after another, which, by the way, one battle after another, we will talk about it next month. It will get its own weekend. The first ever actually modern movie, like almost contemporarily released and discussed on the stream. Quite a thing to cross here. But specifically looking at Rashomon, because Samurai, it was very much associated with, especially during the war and during the the time of the emperor and all that, like glamorizing sort of Japanese history and the Bushido code and all of that, and the samurai movies that sort of come out, and Rashomon's like sort of a big one in that, because there is the samurai, there is a samurai of the woman's husband, and so like they are very much more about questioning all of that, and where you have virtuous samurai, they are ones that are sort of more independent. I'm thinking Seven Samurai, of course, which we talked about, and which much of the cast of that movie is also in this movie, and or in this one, the samurai, while being the one on paper in this plot that is quote unquote wronged. I mean, he's killed, so he's wronged on that level for sure, but also everything leading up to that as well. He is presented as being very much not virtuous, let's just say. He is kind of a prick, and more than kind of. He's a real heartless asshole, because he so embodies what would have been the actual cultural attitude of the time. And I'm of course talking about, and a legitimate trigger warning here, that sort of the central thing in this, the central crime that gets discussed 4 different ways. I feel like a chef, like, well, what I have prepared for you, what I have prepared for you here, chat.
Hello, chef. Hi, chef. What I have for you prepared here is jidaigeki served 4 ways. We have one telling that is a bandit lowlife. We have another telling that is a woman who's a victim of a heinous assault, and another telling that is told through a medium of a dead man's perspective. And then finally, as an aperitif, here at the end here, I have another presentation that is by a woodcutter who was first a part of the trial as a witness, but then you find out that he has more information and can present a version of events as a perhaps more neutral observer. But of course, we come to learn that he is not fully honest in his telling either. So, yeah, a bit of a 4-course meal here, 4 different preparations of a morality play. So please enjoy, chef, and thank you.
So yeah, that would be my Top Chef presentation of this movie. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just like to play with the dials. So yeah, obviously that was hilarious, and we all liked the bit. Let's move on. So this is Rashomon. It's a Toho film, of course. The great. I would, I'm pretty partial to Toho as the great Japanese film studio. Of course, there's also many others, Shochiku and Daiei, lots of great Japanese film studios. But Toho was almost all of Kurosawa's films, if not all of them. Actually, I don't know off the top of my head. And it is an adaptation of a short story called In a Grove. And the title and framing story is taken from another Akutagawa. They're both the same author, Rashomon. And that framing story is, to me, was the framing of the story is one of the most interesting things to me, because coming in, you almost feel like, okay, so I watched this movie the first time and I'm like, all right, well, they're gonna just like, it's gonna be this trial and then everybody's
Japan
gonna.
will be fun. You like Rashomon?
That's not how I remember it.
I had to do it to him. Thank you so much for the follow, Polygon Lion. Thank you. Um, so I'm watching this. I'm like, okay. And also another reason that I'm excited. I just realized I don't have my light on again. Another reason I'm excited to watch this is I like trial movies. I love movies that take place in trials. Anatomy of a Murder, Witness for the Prosecution, the was it just called The Juror? What was it? Was Juror number 2? I loved that movie. I can't remember what it was called. Speaking of Clint Eastwood, yeah, you can understand the joke it's in. Yeah, I love Rashomon too. I mean, it was kind of rural juror coded. So, but it starts with, this is actually one of the first shots of the movie behind me. Which I just love. I love the visual of this is the Rashomon. Was it juror number 9 actually? Okay, great. Or are we just joking? Because whatever you tell me, honestly, I'm gonna believe at this point. A movie again, I did like the movie. So the Rashomon Gate, it's such a potent visual metaphor that they keep returning to as this whole framing device of these two guys just sitting under this gate that's destroyed, that's in disrepair, and they are just kind of staring into the middle distance. The one says, "I just don't understand it. I don't understand." And then another guy comes up, and he's kind of you can tell he's a bit of a lowlife. He looks to be like a thief who's trying to, see what's around that he can grab, but he's also interested in why they're so fucked up. Those two people, one is a woodcutter and one is a priest. And they say, we just heard this, we heard the craziest story, basically. It is juror number 2. Okay. I thought that was it. But, honestly, it doesn't matter. All I'll say is watch it on a plane. You'll thank me later. It's a plane movie. It's a plane movie. So yeah, they are so shell shocked by the story they've heard. And it was the trial that they also participated in as witnesses. And so that's our overworld, right? That's our hub world. Is the Rashomon Gate and these guys, as they then, we flash back to the trial and they each say their little witness statements. Right. I think that it's almost the structure of the movie is, again, like what I love about it is how it subverts your expectations of what it's even going to be, even if you know the plot or its reputation going in, because it's not just like they each tell 3 completely different versions of events. They do in a sort of way. Each of them, again, I think what's funny, each of the 3 people that's involved in the crime. Toshiro Mifune's character, who's of course named Tajomaru, and Takahiro is the samurai who gets killed ultimately, and Masago is his wife, who is attacked, assaulted. The R word I'm not going to say because it's a movie chat show. But also, we start with Tajomaru's version of events, and he's like taken with her, but he's also, the way he talks about himself is like, I need to have her, and he's also constantly boasting, and he's He's a very much like a, he's a bad hombre, let's say. It's actually funny. So of course Toshiro Mifune, one of the great collaborators, actors who works repeatedly with Akira Kurosawa, um, and this is like their, I don't know if it's the third overall movie they did together, but there are two movies before this um, that he does with Takashi Shimura as well, who plays the woodcutter, called hang on a second, I want to make sure because I always forget the one's title. Sorry, I am just making sure. Stray Dog and Drunken Angel are the two I'm thinking of. That I was saying the same thing to 50 McNasty watching it just before the stream. Is I like there's three locations. There are three locations. One of them is the most nondescript, like courtyard with a just blank wall. But it is still interesting because it shows Kurosawa's amazing ability to use blocking and framing. The way that the priest and the woodcutter characters are just kind of in the background through all the trial, just kind of observing, and then it connects back to them telling the story is like amazing. And then the woods where the attack and the assault happens, sort of happens off of the road. He lures them off the road or whatever. Is so nondescript, but at the same time, it's like, I was playing Robert Altman talking about it beforehand, but it's like everything is obscured. There's constantly shadows going over everything. Um, it all feels like you're lost in the woods or something. Like it could be, it's like, is it even the same location on every telling of the stories? Like it looks the same, but I don't even know. Um, like it's just a mess that happens in the woods and into the woods, which, sorry, it's my musical coming out. It has had a stage adaptations. Actually, I found I found a full recording of one on YouTube, and then I think it's like Turkish, maybe. It's in a language that I don't know. Um, but I almost could just watch it and still understand what's happening because I know the story so well. But there has been a stage adaptation. Um, so so yeah, Rashomon. Um, this movie, let's see. Yeah, it won the Golden Lion at the 12th Venice Film Festival. Um, yeah, it was the first Japanese film to attain significant international recognition. Uh, it earned almost $1 million abroad, 800,000 abroad, which is a lot at the time. And it did win Best Foreign Language Film at the Academy Awards. Pretty sure it was the first Japanese. And it was nominated for Best Picture at the BAFTAs as well. So it was immediately heralded as genius. And the actual structure of the thing itself is um, each of these characters, these primary people involved in it, as they tell it, the ultimate what they each ultimately come to reveal is that they claim responsibility for the murder, um, in their own ways. And what's really funny is that Tajamaru's way of telling it is very much like, uh, I was just like going to have her, I was going to take her, and I like he's almost like he's like Genghis Khan or something. Like he's battle for her, and she begged me to defeat him because like to kill him because we both can't live. I was going to let him live, but so I did it. I gave him an honorable death, and he crossed swords with me 23 times, and no man's ever crossed swords with me 20 more plus times, but I killed him basically in this, like, just making himself out to be this, like, you know, big man for lack of a better word. But then we find that the woman comes and tells her side of the story, and where you might expect like them to replay events, it happens a little bit, but like for example, you expect, oh, we're gonna see the attack from her perspective, but no, actually her story starts from after her assault. So uh it's everything that happens after that, and it's basically her being left alone with her husband and him just looking at her with contempt and utter loathing that she would have this happen. And it very much is backed up when we eventually hear the husband's versions of event through the medium. Like, this is one of the things where it's like the way that they corroborate each other is just as interesting as the way that they contradict. And like the way that she tells it, she goes into sort of like a trance blind rage, uh where when she and she like comes at him holding her very ornate fancy dagger, which is plot important that it's very her fancy ornate like pearl whatever ivory dagger. And she goes like she blacks out basically, and when she wakes up, like he's got the dagger in his chest, and then she runs away. That's her version. um and then finally the husband's version is just really quick, is you know um that she was immediately being, hoeing out for him kind of. I mean, she was immediately like, no, you have to like get rid of him. And it's basically, I mean, and then so after you hear his version of events, our Greek chorus or whatever you want to call them here at the Rashomon gate are the priest says, uh right, well, and that's another good point, Goodson, is that it's through this layer of a medium as well. Like, it's not, you're not hearing obviously because he's dead. So and you think it's going to be, can you trust her? But yeah, it is that it does immediately because she's talking in his voice. So you're like, no, this is him, and you do buy that it's actually him talking. And the priest says afterwards, well, how a dead man can't lie. And then they're like, well, how do you know that? And he's like, well, I have to believe that like a dead man wouldn't lie or whatever, because then like, I don't know, it's like it's really funny, the sort of what ends up happening towards the end is you have sort of this woodcutter who's holding on to his own like secret part of the story that he doesn't want to talk about. I mean, he's not necessarily involved, but he has way more knowledge than he lets on, and the reason he's not letting on that he knows. Um, Spoilers, because he has the fancy dagger and he doesn't want them to take it off of him because he has like 5 kids to feed and it's really bad economic times. So he needs the dagger to sell to feed his family. But they like, you have the priest who represents like everybody needs to be fundamentally good. Like, I need to believe that everyone is capable of good and honesty and truth. And then you have the thief who's like sort of also the one egging on the story. In some ways, it's really funny that he's like one of the lowest moral characters that we encounter in the movie. The only one who's worse is oh God, I can't keep reading his name. Tajamaru, Toshiro Mifune's character, and he knows he knows this guy, like the what's the he's a commoner is what his name is, the commoner. But he knows Tajamaru by reputation. He tells a story of how there were these 2 women that like went to a temple out in the woods, and they were found murdered in the middle of the woods, and everybody speculated and assumed it was Tajamaru. So he's like, and he says this like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy, and in a way that's kind of like, I want to be like that or something. Like, he's like he's a little bit you get the sense he's like a budding Tajamaru, maybe. Like, he would go that way. So he's sort of like devil on the shoulder, angel on the shoulder is the priest, because he's like very nihilistic, very, I gotta get what's for mine, nobody's gonna look out for me. Like, let me know if this is this is resonating at all. But there's somebody that's total doomer. It's total like nothing matters. So whatever, I'm going to steal this abandoned baby's kimono or whatever, and maybe even steal the baby or and then you have the I am completely honest, I am completely good. Uh, right, and I mean, and this is very much like uh what you see a lot in if you watch a lot of samurai movies is that there's sort of based on when it takes place, it's either uh like everything is so controlled, so like orderly, and it's like I don't know, like a powder keg or something that's gonna explode, or it's a time of transition, it's a time of war, it's the end of a era or beginning, or like the transitional time where everything's fucked. Everybody is like just on their own, and it's so bleak. And this is definitely takes place in one of those times. I mean, and I think that that's sort of like this visual metaphor of the Rashomon gate is meant to sort of hang over all of this. Is and there's a really amazing and there's an amazing moment that I think it's again the commoner that says it, where he says because the spiritual beliefs of the Japanese are that each of these gates are protected by some divine forces, some gods or whatever, and they said that or demons even actually, and they said that the demons of this gate have actually abandoned it because the cruelty of man was like terrified them, was too cruel, and so that's why this gate was destroyed, and I think that that's really a kind of interesting thing, because as we get each of these perspectives, you expect to have it more clarified, but you only get more confused. And then you understand sort of these two guys at the beginning going like, I just don't understand it, because you keep hearing perspectives and you're like, okay, well, that part makes sense. But then wait, I think maybe you have a reason to lie about this. But then this other person actually echoes what you're saying, but they contradict this other thing. And like, you never really get a satisfying answer, even when you finally have the revelation at the end of this woodcutter has actually witnessed the entire altercation. And this does include one of my favorite kind of, if there's a joke in this movie, it's the contrast between Tajumaru's version of the sword fight that he has with the samurai versus the woodcutter's telling of it, which is that it's like very much Pineapple Express, Danny McBride, like they are just like immediately falling over, but they're also you understand like it's so like raw and sort of like nervy kind of, and it's like it's they're pathetic because they're terrified, right? Like they're like it actually dawns on them what it means to actually have to fight to the death here, and they're like, wait, do I actually want to? I don't know. And the first thing they do is like run away and retreat from each other and stuff, and then the way that it's like it is not the glorious thing it's presented to be. And also everything about how they get into the fight, I mean, because what actually happens is and this is where it's really his version of events is you see that first of all he says that Toshiro Mifune's character Tajumaru is very like immediately apologetic about his actions and about how he's like never felt this way about anyone basically, and he's like kind of spilling his heart about how he actually is like in love with her or whatever, which is again not like he does like in his telling of the story Tajumaru's, he does like say that he's immediately like taken by her, and it's almost, but it's like he talks about her very much like it's one of like the samurai's nicest possessions, which honestly is sort of how they would have thought of her, even the samurai himself probably, right, at the time, and everything about the way that when you know, the when he goes to actually fight the samurai. Samurai says, I don't want to fight for her. Says, like, I'm not gonna like lose my life for this woman that would do that. Again, blaming her for the attack that happened on her, and just being like, no, I'm done with her, throwing her away. And at this, Tajumaru's like, well, now I don't want her, which is fucked. But you can like psychologically understand it as like, now that she's no longer this precious. And it's like, so on the one hand, he's a bit more genuine with his emotions with her, but then ultimately he does come to view her almost like the same way you would a possession, at least in this telling. But what gets them to actually fight, right, and that is another, yeah, you're right, Gets and Shiggles, that like the samurai, when confronted with him, is like, he doesn't even feel, it's like he doesn't feel any animosity to the man that raped his wife. Like he only feels contempt for her, which is wild. And actually what gets them to fight is that Masago just like goes from, and it's such an amazingly acted moment from Machiko Kyo, where she goes from being like a crumpled bit of like fabric on the ground, like just so distraught. You see her hair just like draping like upside down, like, and like onto the ground, and it's like the black hair, and she's just like crying. And then all of a sudden she just get like this manic laughter comes over her, and she gets up and she just lays into them as not being real men. And like, and she's like fucking right also, but the way that she gets them to fight each other is by basically questioning their manhood, and being like to her husband, like, you're not going to, like, this man attacked your woman or whatever, like the way that you see me, and you feel no need to fight him. And then she's like, and to Tajimaru, she's like, oh, you're like, I was actually excited to run away with you because I know your reputation. And I was like, oh, he could get me out of this, doldrums of my life, and that's not a happy marriage. But but you're not a fucking man either. And it's like, all right. And what's amazing also is then when they actually take their swords out and start to fight, she goes from like laughing at what ridiculous idiots they are that they won't fight, that then when she sees that, oh no, they're starting to fight, then she's like, oh fuck. She like actually gets like, wait, now I don't want. It's like when they actually get to the confrontation and the reality of this story, nobody actually wants to do it, but they are just like compelled in some odd way. Again, the more information, the more complete of a picture you get, the less it makes sense. The more you have to kind of chew on it and not really get left with like satisfying answers. And so then there's this great wrestling with the morality with the three actors. I mean, the three narrators, or whatever you want to call them, in our overworld. And they discover this baby that's been left there at the gate, that's been abandoned basically, and they have a fight over it. And the commoner calls out the woodcutter. He says, I know that you weren't honest in your telling of the story either. He's like, I know that he's like, he basically has put together, because probably he's a thief, that is like, there's a valuable thing in this, that this this ornate dagger, that would probably be very expensive, but like, you're not telling it. Oh, look, we have somebody in the waiting room. Let's pull them in. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Let me turn you up here. Okay. Is this who we have calling in here? Who's this?
You have got Gits and Shiggles.
Gitson, thank you for calling in. And thank you for watching the movie. That's cool that you did that.
Okay, that was great. I loved it.
Would you have something to contribute here?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to hop in for a second. Kind of a second ago, you're talking about like how why am I hearing myself? I gotta
Oh,
let me
that's okay.
turn off the stream here.
Oh,
Okay, anyway, to hop in, or not turn off the stream, mute it. But no, so you were talking about the fight between them and how like they're reluctant to even do it, they're afraid to die and all that. And I have like some like weird thoughts about like Tajumaru, where like after he kills the husband, he seems like shocked and like appalled at what he did.
and then you go
Which I
back to how he told the story at the
yeah,
beginning, right?
yeah, because that it's also like he's this notorious bandit, right? Like everyone knows him. It's like, has he never killed before? Is it ever just like he
Right.
seems so appalled? It makes me wonder if like even his reputation is just more
Yeah.
boisterous, like a load of bullshit.
Yeah, is
I'm
it
like,
based more on how like he told the story in the beginning? Like that's like the way that he's like ha 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 ha, ha laughing and oh boisterous and I'm mad and I'm a bad guy or whatever. Like that act that he puts on, like that's when he's telling about, his stories about what happened. And yeah, are those all inflated too? Totally.
yeah, and oh, I thought another interesting thing about that is like his telling of the story is like I said at the beginning of the stream and chat. Um, I really didn't know anything about this movie other than it's the unreliable narrator movie,
Right.
and like so when he started telling his story and he's like, well, actually, yeah, I did force myself upon her, but she was kind of into it,
Right.
and then
She
asked
like
me to
started
kill.
to reciprocate and kiss
Yeah,
me back. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, and then asked me to kill her husband.
Mhm.
I was like thinking like, oh yeah, all right, buddy, sure.
Right.
But it's strange that like his retelling is kind of like the most accurate to what at least what we know
Right. The
of
one
the
part that
final.
yeah, he exaggerates the fight a lot. But I do think that yeah, like in terms of plot, like of what actually happened, he does get most of the bit like overall beats correct. But he just totally it's like in how he tells it that like inflates his role in it and all this stuff. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I just
Have you
thought that.
seen? Because there's a movie that this gets compared to a lot. That's a more recent one. That I liked a good deal as The Last Duel, the Ridley Scott movie from a few years ago.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
So it sort of does the same basic thing as this, except it's Adam Driver as it's in the French Crusades era time. Um, and Ben Affleck plays a ridiculous like princeling character. It's really funny. And then Matt Damon is like the husband of Jodie Comer's character, and he like goes away to fight in the war, and then it's this whole rivalry that he has with Adam Driver, and Adam Driver comes and like basically takes advantage of his wife. It's like it's a very much at least like the three different versions of events and this sort of rape at the center of it is like they echo each other a lot. It's structurally different because then it ends with the titular last duel, and that's more what it's building towards. But anyway, that's just it always makes me think of that. So I was thinking of that movie a lot this week. um
Oh no,
but
that
yeah,
sounds
but
interesting.
it's especially in the Tajumaru is like that. It's very much the same thing with when Adam Driver's telling it. It's like he was aggressive on he was the aggressor in a way of like forcing himself to like be there, but then she eventually gave like she reciprocated sort of thing. And it's like with the one hand you're like obviously she didn't, but on the it's like in the hundreds of years ago mindset of the way that they would have thought about these things, like
Yeah,
and just how the man's word is like, well, yeah, that's what happened then, kind of thing. I don't know. It's like, of course, very dark to dwell thinking
yeah,
about that, but I don't know. It's
yeah. I
it's
think he like I think Tajumaru one of the reasons he was like saying, "Oh, she reciprocated" and all that was how he interpreted like her like neither of you are real men. You should just fucking fight each other.
right.
As
Yeah,
like, oh, maybe she does still want to run away with me. Start this new fantastic bandit life. So maybe she was into it. Maybe it was okay.
And that's another thing, is that part of what like attracts Tajumaru to her so much, from beyond just like, I don't know, like a pretty lady, is that she does fight back fiercely, and it's like that almost gets him more into her in a really awful way. Is that like, he's like, oh, I was impressed by, like, I forget how he says it, but like the you know, how she was like fierce, like I
Yeah,
think maybe her fierceness.
yeah. Fought more fiercely than her husband did.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And for sure. And so then when she's like discarded crying, and then it's like, and the husband doesn't want to fight, then it's like, well, now it's a different vibe. And then but then she's fighting back again. And yeah, sort of like what you're saying. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I am into it. But then ultimately she runs away, right? Like, it's all too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen Seven Samurai, but not for like a really long time. I'll probably need to watch that again, but
Yeah.
definitely check out some more Kurosawa
Yeah,
movies.
you really can't go wrong, especially with all the big ones. I have a full on my letterbox. I have a list. I believe it's public. Uh, that is on my ranking of the Kurosawa that I have seen. Is that public? Yeah, I think it should be. Anyway, it's Kurosawa rank. Yeah, that's my. I have, actually, here I can show it on stream. Uh, there. So I have. Yeah, it's cut off. I need to like actually just create scenes for stuff. All right. So I have high and low number 1. Rashomon. I'm gonna actually maybe have to adjust this. Wait, where is Rashomon on here? Do I not have? Oh no, there it is. 5. Yeah, that's pretty good. I have Rashomon. So high and low, Ikiru, Seven Samurai, Ran. You seen Ran?
I have not.
That's a good one. Especially if you like Seven Samurai, Ran is like, that's the color. It's also Throne of Blood because it's a Shakespeare adaptation. It's King Lear told in samurai.
Okay.
And it's from the 80s. He actually, Kurosawa was nominated for Best Director at the Oscars for Ran. Did he even
No,
win?
that's cool.
But anyway, yeah. So that's, if anybody else is interested in some more Kurosawa, I mean, and again, I haven't even seen them all. There's so many. But yeah, every time I think the most recent one I watched is this one, I Live in Fear. This one feels really relevant now because it's about it's basically one of his contemporary movies, and it's about a guy, and this came out in 1955, so 10 years from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He lives in fear of nuclear annihilation, basically, of total, nuclear catastrophe. And because of something about how Japan is situated in the world, that no matter where nuclear uh, war may come out, the fallout's going to hit Japan or whatever. So he lives basically with a background knowledge of just everything being horrible all the time. And anyway, for some reason, I related to that movie, and I quite liked it.
Yeah, that sounds very like relevant.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of these are fun. Bad Sleep Well is a Hamlet adaptation that takes place in corporate Japan. That's really cool. It's like a noir, corporate noir, which is always a kind of noir I really like. So yeah, I mean, it's a really fun. I mean, Japanese film in general is just the best rabbit hole. I mean, I am biased because I'm still in the rabbit hole. But Kurosawa in particular to me, like, I get pissed off when people make fun of film bros or whatever, and they try to be like, oh, you don't know Kurosawa. Like, they try to trot out Kurosawa's name as like a pretentious like thing to talk about, and then you actually watch some Kurosawa movies, and they're the most like populist entertainment. Like, they might as well be like Steven Spielberg or something. Like,
Yeah,
they're
like anybody anyone can enjoy these.
Very much. Like Seven Samurai is like, it's, you know, it's for everybody. It's just an entertaining movie. He's just looking to, you know, tell you a really complete story. I don't know. He's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thanks for jumping on, Gitson. My first caller. This is big. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have
thanks for
anything
having-
else that you want to add before I let you go?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for calling in.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah. That was Gitson Shiggles, everybody. That was awesome. Hey, wasn't that easy? That's all it is, folks. I really like that also as a test case of, look, we can do it. So yeah, that worked. So you know, going forward, I'm actually probably going to wrap up pretty soon here, unless there's anything anyone in the chat has they want to cover here. The system works. The system works. There was another movie that I wanted, another recent movie that I was thinking about, and now it's going to bother me when I was watching the movie. This is why I sometimes take notes. I've gotten away from taking notes, and that's that's not the best idea. So wait, hang on. This is interesting. I'm just now when she says you can't remember the movie, I'm just now seeing, I'm going down to the accolades part of the wiki here. You'll notice two different Academy Awards they were honored. The 1952 ceremony honorary foreign language award. So it like got its own honorary award. Maybe it just hadn't premiered in America yet, but it was 52, so it was already 2 years past its Japanese premiere. I don't know how that happened, but then the next year they did Best Art Direction Black and White in the general categories. And it's not really that interesting, but yeah, but The Last Duel, oh, it's gonna bother me when I remember. Oh, it's really not that important though. I will say, so we're moving on. We're gonna not be black and white. The Academy Awards are weird. We're gonna not be black and white for the rest of the month. Because next week I'm gonna have a generative AI Miyazaki filter on me. And I'm just kidding. I'm not really gonna do that. I'm not really gonna have a Miyazaki AI filter. But we are talking about Spirited Away next week. And we're talking Miyazaki. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Who knows? Who knows what might happen? We may lose our colors. The world is changing fast. Spirited Away. Yeah, I mean, I'm picking again, these are the totemic, the like, you can't talk about Japanese film with. I mean, I could have easily picked any other number of Miyazaki's. To me, Spirited Away is kind of a great. I don't even know if it's my favorite Miyazaki is actually Kiki's Delivery Service, personally. I like them all. Actually, I haven't seen The Wind Rises, so I'll probably watch The Wind Rises this week as well, because I'm also interested in The Wind Rises because I didn't know, and now I'm more aware of Hideaki Anno's role in The Wind Rises, both artistically and also he does the voice of the main character, and I am always very interested in Anno. Anno is one that would be really fun to talk about at some point. Talk about Shin Ultraman or End of Evangelion. Ooh, End of Evangelion is such a good that's such a good mindfuck of a movie. And I also I still need to watch all the Evangelion movies. Especially the like most recent one that's like Shin Evangelion, because I love all the Shin. Here I go. I just started talking about Japanese film, and I just keep going and going and going. So next week, Spirited Away. 2 weeks, Tampopo. So excited, and then we close it out with. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back to my letterbox. Let's go to my profile. My top 4 favorite films. That's what we're closing the month with. Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. My favorite movie is going to be our finale. And it's maybe not technically a Japanese movie. I don't know. It couldn't even get shown in Japan for many decades. It was just screened in Japan publicly for the first time at the end of last year. Well, that's sort of why it's interesting, because it's a totally Japanese cast and crew. I was getting a little glicky there. I just realized I'm taking on Jiminy Glick mannerisms now, and I'm not that upset about it. Tomorrow, we still have one more stream for the weekend streamer this weekend. So tomorrow at 6, we do have the score, the Philip Glass score. Oh my god. There was one day when I was at work, and I just put on a playlist of a bunch of different covers of the main Mishima closing song. Tomorrow we get J-pop banger hunters. I have a playlist of a bunch of J-pop songs. If you have some, it's performances, music videos, a bunch of different stuff, all eras. We got some 80s city pop. We got some stuff from the last 10 years, 15 years. Some of the stuff that I know and love, some stuff that I have just become aware of this week looking for stuff. If you have suggestions of any music, artist, or video, or performance that would be cool to watch, drop it in the Discord or at me on Blue Sky or wherever. Let me know, because I don't really know that much. So we're gonna be having fun discovering it together. So anyway, yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody, as always. And then until then, we'll see you next time. Goodbye. All right, I gotta raid and do all that shit. Who am I raiding?
Toronto, Cannes, Berlin, and Sundance. Everybody chat about good movies. Chat about.
Oh, look who it's Zomboid
movies.
too.
Chat about.
Enjoy.
Good movies.
Oh,
Good
my
movies.
favorite comfort watch, Justin playing
Good
Zomboid.
movies.
Later.